It's all about sowing outside today on Pots and Trowels, which is brought to you with the support of Mr. Fothergill's Darlac and Cobra Garden. Hello, welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, it's the start of a busy time in the vegetable garden, and over the next few weeks there's lots and lots of vegetable seeds we can be sowing. So now is the time to get them in. The weather's warming up, although it is a bit dry, so you might need to water. So I'm just going to give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the borrowed vegetable garden we're using this year, and then we're going to plant some onion sets. So this part of the garden is where we're going to grow beans and peas, and I've already got the broad beans in a couple of weeks ago. I covered them over with just these little cloches just to keep that cold icy wind off, but they've settled in, so they will be fine now and they'll grow away without any problems. And next to it is going to be peas, mange tout, dwarf French beans, so that's going to be in a plot here, so I'm going to put those there and I will sow those later on today. And then from about halfway down this plot, this is going to be the brassica plot, so they will be cabbages, Brussels sprouts, cauliflowers, all the kales that I'm raising in plug plants back at home. They'll be planted here. Established bed of strawberries there, so the promise of some lovely ripe fruits later on in the year. And then this main central bed, quite a big bed, we've got 11 rows of potatoes. We're going big on potatoes this year. We've got first earlies, second earlies, salad potatoes and main crop. So we're not going to be short of chips, mashed, roasted and boiled. This plot here, the first part is going to be onions, so we've already got the shallots in there, and the root crops will be planted in the second part of the bed, and certainly the carrots will go under the carrot root fly frame. That's going to keep those pesky little flies off them so they don't cause any damage. And also, as well as vegetables, there's loads of flowers we can be sowing at this time of the year. Lovely hardy annuals, things like larkspur and clarkia and cosmos and sunflowers and cornflowers. All of those can be sown directly into the garden, and they'll provide us with lovely cut flowers all the way through the summer. So there's loads to be getting on with, but what I want to do today is to plant some onion sets. So I've got the ground prepared just here. I've put some fertilizer down on the ground, I've put the string line down, and I've got my onion sets here. Now I've already planted some of the white onion sets, so they've already gone in the 2 rows before. So these are just small immature onions that were grown from seed last year. They've been stored in cool conditions, and then when we plant these little bulbs like this, they will develop into lovely mature bulbs later in the summer. So this is a lovely red one. So I'm going to space these out along my string line about 4 inches apart. We don't have to be too exact with these. If we plant them a little bit closer, it means we get slightly smaller onions. If we give them a bit more growing room, we'll get bigger onions. So it's just a rough spacing. So I'm going to obviously do the whole row, and then it's simply just a case of, I use a trowel with these, and because some people push them in, but I find then the blackbirds can pull them out very easily. So with just a little trowel, we make a hole and put them in, and I fill them so that the soil is to the top of the bulb. We can just see the tip of that bulb there poking out, so it's going to be difficult for the blackbirds to see them to pull them out. And then that one in there, so it's really simple to put them in. They've got the base of that little bulb is in moist soil, and I'm just going to work my way along the row and get those in. And if this weather does stay dry, what I'll probably do is just get the watering can and give them a light watering in, just to get the roots to grow. They'll make short shoots in just a couple of weeks' time, and then they're going to grow on. So I shall carry on planting those. But what I'm going to do with the spare is to use these in some containers, because what I want to do this year is grow lots of vegetables back at home in containers, so they're nice and handy when I need them just to pop out the door. So we'll be doing that in a minute when I finish planting these. as well as all the veg we're growing down on the plot, we want to grow some here, so we've got it nice and handy. So obviously in the greenhouse there'll be tomatoes, cucumbers and peppers, but I also want to grow a range of salads and other quick growing veg in pots. So I've already started a few bits off. Lettuce is really easy to do in containers, just shallow containers, multi-purpose. You can either sow the seed very thinly or start them off in little plug trays and plant them out, and they're perfectly okay outside at this time of the year. And I've got some more here that I'm growing in these cell trays, and these are a lovely red lettuce that's just about ready to plant out now, so you can do that type of thing. I've also got some carrots in pots. Now we all think of carrots as having really long roots, but this is a short stumpy rooted carrot, lovely seedlings. All I did was fill the tray pot with compost, just multi-purpose compost, sowed it nice and thinly on there, the seed, covered it over, and we've got these strong seedlings, and these are now at the point where they just need a little bit of thinning out. You can see they're still quite close, so I'm just going to pull out one or two of those seedlings so that it gives them about an inch or two of a gap between them. Just lightly firm them in so they will have room to mature. And this is a variety called short and sweet, so it's only going to produce roots that are 3 or 4 inches long, so they'll be perfect. So I'll probably get 20-25 lovely carrots in there, and if you sow them 2 or 3 times through the summer, you'll just get nice salad carrots. And the same with peas. This is a pea. Now we think of peas, I'm going to be sowing some down in the garden, but this is a dwarf pea. It's got the appropriate name, half pint, and it only grows to 8 inches tall. So these are only in a small pot. You could put them in a bigger pot than this, but I've just sown these directly into a pot. They won't need any support. They will produce flowers and little pods of peas. So if you've got a mixture of all different pots, you can just pop outside the back door, pick what you want, and it's there. You can't get fresher than that. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a few onion sets left from planting down on the plot, so I'm going to put a few of those into a small pot of compost. This is multi-purpose compost, and I'm not going to grow these to make big bulbing onions. What I want with these is salad onions. I don't want to waste these sets, it seems a shame. So what I'm going to do literally is push them just in to this soft compost so that they're about an inch or so apart, really close together. That's the idea of these. So it's not like planting them in the garden. These aren't going to form a big bulb at all. I'm going to let them grow, produce a nice long shoot. They'll just start to swell at the base, and then we can pull them out or chop them, use them as salad onions in stir fries or in salads or anything that we're doing in the kitchen, and they will be ready about 6 weeks after doing this. So it's just a good way of using up any leftovers from your onion sets like that, and that's perfect, works ideal. Drop of water and outside, and they will soon start to grow. I might just push them down a little bit more so the blackbirds don't get them. And then I've also grown all sorts of things you can do. Grown some curly kale. This is just the ordinary curly kale that we normally harvest in the winter, but again you can pick these as little baby leaves. So I've just grown these in a cell tray, just a pinch of seed, so they're not even single seeds, and I'm just going to take them out and plant these in here. And we're not going to let these mature and get to 2 feet tall. We'll use these again in salads through the summer. Chopped kale is lovely in salads, so these can be planted just a little bit wider apart, 3 or 4 inches apart, because they will really bush out and make a good sized plant. So again, put them in, firm them in like that. So another couple there, and that will fill that pot. You could do that with the lovely purple kale as well, so they also look attractive, and they're going to go into there. So that's got some nice greens. We've got lettuce, we've got carrots growing, we're going to have peas, and then something we use a lot of are shallots. So again, I planted my shallots out a couple of weeks ago on the plot, but I've got a few plants left, so these are going to go into this pot. So nothing is going to be wasted. These will all grow perfectly well. These clump up, of course. Shallots develop a cluster of small bulbs around the base, so you can eat them fresh, you can store them, you can pickle them for pickled onions in vinegar. Absolutely delicious are shallots. So it really is simple. And what we need to do, of course, with all of these vegetables that we're growing in containers like this, is to make sure that we never let them dry out. So we've got to keep that compost moist and feed them. Use a liquid feed. I'm going to use some seaweed fertilizer on there, so they've always got the nutrients, and these can be grouped together, and when they're growing in a few weeks time, I'll let you see what they look like, and then, you know, before long we can be picking them. So even if you haven't got a garden, you've just got a little patio or veranda, get some containers, get some multi-purpose compost, some seeds or young plants, and get growing. Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and thank you for telling all your friends about us. Next week we're going to be doing a bit of lawn care, scarifying and getting the lawns good for summer. So we'll see you then. Bye.